Welcome. I'm Susan O'Neill, and as Ryan said, it started with a group of neighbors. I'm going to give you a little bit of background. I've been practicing all day and a little nervous, so I'm not going to be real good at ad-libbing, so I'm just going to follow my thing here. About a year ago, my husband and I got a dog, and we started walking him in Pike Park here, and when we did that, we started seeing things we didn't like. We saw trash, we saw graffiti, we saw people drinking and doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing in the park, and we did what was most common for us humans to do, is we complained to each other, and then we went in our house and we closed our door. And we felt alone in caring about our neighborhood. And when the graffiti got bad enough, I called the city to come clean it up, and they did, but it took them some time. There's some funding issues and some resources, but they came and cleaned it up. And again, I did what was somewhat natural for me, is to complain about their response time and go in my house and close the door and feel alone in caring about my neighborhood. About the second or third time I called about the graffiti, I learned that I can actually help. I became a voluntary member of the Neighborhood Environmental Action Team, which basically means I have paint in my home, and when the graffiti happens, I can cover it up quickly. I don't need for the city to come and actually do it, even though they always do come and cover over it. But I still felt alone in caring about my neighborhood, and that was quite disturbing until I read an article in the paper about the Loma Area Neighborhood Association, and I thought, well, this is really great. We can do this. And still I took no action because I'm busy, and I stayed within my home until we had an abandoned house in the neighborhood. And then I was appalled. The fence had broken down, the trash was in the alley, and the windows were broken. And I said to my husband, this is unacceptable. This is not the kind of neighborhood I want to live in. And again, I called the city, who, by the way, responded greatly. They did come eventually and board up the house. But the amazing thing that happened when I did that this time was I learned that other people in my neighborhood had also called the city, and I didn't feel so alone anymore. I had a lot of hope. And one summer day, my husband and I walked down to some neighbor's house that we had met briefly, and they invited us into their home, and we got to know each other for about an hour, and we talked. And we discovered that they too had an idea for the association, and that's how it started. Nancy Klein at that time was forming an ice cream social for National Night Out, and at that first ice cream social on August 3rd, we discussed for a larger group than just the four of us the concept, and this larger group also was interested, and they were energized and enthused, and there were more of us. And on August 17th, we had our first meeting at a home here that borders the park, and we got to know each other, and we discussed the issues and learned that if we all come together with a unified voice and take our concerns along with solution-oriented answers to the city, that we can work with them and create a better, safer, secure neighborhood for all of us. So since that time, we've been meeting every 2 weeks. We have about 16 to 20 core members, and we have worked really hard to get the message out to all of our neighborhood and to have this big park meeting. And we realize we need to stay together. There's strength in numbers. There's a lot of issues going on, but if we go in our homes and complain and don't do anything, then nothing gets done. I know that there are more people who wanted to be here tonight. Some of them emailed me about schedule conflicts, and one person did say that the Giants ruled. Matter of fact, I heard they were up 2-0. But I'm going to say to you what I said to them, and that is that when we all come together, we can affect change. And you can get involved with as much time that you can. There's going to be project committees in the future, and also we have steering committee meetings twice a month, and I'll give more information about that at the end. But it's the first and third Mondays at a church on Carver, and everyone here is welcome to attend if they want to be more involved in moving this organization forward. Thank you very much. Oh, and our next speaker will be Nancy Klein, who will talk more about the steering committee.
Ice cream socials are fun, so we just did that as a neighborhood block, and it has blossomed. Another thing that we've done, my husband and I, mostly my husband as a concerned neighbor, is we have a section of 9th Street that Rex picks up the trash from. And you can actually have your name on a plaque on that if that's floats your boat. But it's just another way to be a concerned and active citizen, is to do something like that. We have quite a few people that are on the steering committee, and what I'd like to do is when I call your name, just wave so that people can kind of see who in this crowd is part of the organizing group. And this steering committee has been with us pretty much from the beginning. They also met at City Hall and helped to form the name DelWood Neighborhood Alliance, DNA for short. They've also helped to make major decisions about the survey. They've walked the neighborhood and passed out these invitations. And their names, the ones that were there at the meeting on 10th Street, their names were actually on the letter that accompanied the survey. So we know Sue and Joe O'Neill, there's Joe over there. Myself and my husband, who's way back there with our grandson. Jim and Flo Murray, they hosted our first meeting in their backyard. Will and Paula DeBoard, and Paula takes notes on our meeting. Tiffany, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, or Tony's. Metzner and Tony Stangarone, or is it Stangarone? Either way, okay. And they are master stuffers. They helped to organize the envelope stuffing and sorting, and worked with Julie from Parks and Recreation. Mike and Nita Brady, who took the surveys and tallied the results. Ryan Suela, who you met and introduced or opened up the meeting, and also had major contact with the city officials. Tony Serrano, our coffee wrangler here. He is our major contact with the businesses, and he hosted an envelope stuffing party at Serrano's Social Club, J Street. Rich and Carol Wagner over here, they collected the surveys. That's where they were mailed to. Jim Southard walked the neighborhood and supplied the PA system. Brian Smith, Den and Mary Wesson, they walked. Hank and Linda Bertolotto, wherever they are, they're in the back there. They let us use their church to do some envelope stuffing. If you're not on the steering committee, but you want to be involved, let us know. Put that out on not applications. What am I saying? What is that? Those forms that you filled out. There's also other people who were very involved. Ephraim and Lorena Escobedo walked. Bev Boyko, my next door neighbor, stuffed envelopes and walked. Mike and Gail Parker, they stuffed envelopes. And I have not met Jeff Marasovich. If I got that name wrong, I'm sorry. But he also walked. And if I've missed somebody, I'm sorry. But there's a lot of names there, and really want them to be acknowledged for all the fine work that they've done. And it's important for you, everyone, to fill out these forms so that we have contact information for you, on you. If you don't have an email address, that's okay, because we can still get newsletters out to you if you send us your home address. We want to have this contact information. It will only stay with Susan and I. We want to respect everybody's privacy, so it's not something that we're going to sell or give away or anything like that. It's just for the Alliance. And please fill it out so that we can keep you informed about what's going on in the neighborhood. And eventually we're going to get a newsletter that would go out probably quarterly. And just want to thank you all for being here. And next I want to introduce Mike Meridian from the La Loma area.